Welcome to this explainer. Okay, let's dive straight into a massive hurdle for language learners everywhere, the paralyzing fear of actually speaking out loud. Today, we're looking at a fantastic, really foundational approach designed to strip away all that stress, the overly complicated vocabulary, and the sheer anxiety of learning English. It's all about stripping the process right down to its absolute stress free basics. So, I want you to answer this question honestly. Do you want to speak English? If you're listening to this explainer, the answer is probably a resounding yes. You share this exact same goal with literally millions of people. But here's the thing our source material points out right out of the gate. Often, before we can even speak, we are scared. Like really, really scared. And that fear, it just completely overrides our desire to learn. Actually, the source text hits the nail on the head regarding what that fear feels like, stating, I knew words, but my mouth was closed. Seriously, have you ever felt that? You study all the grammar, you memorize endless vocabulary lists, you've got all the tools right there in your head, but the exact moment you need to use them, bam, anxiety completely shuts you down. Look, it's a completely normal starting point. You are absolutely not alone in feeling this way. And honestly, that trapped feeling is exactly what we're going to fix today. To help conquer this fear, our source gives us a really clear roadmap to follow. We've got 1, the fear of speaking, 2, Rule 1, speak slowly, 3, Rule 2, embrace mistakes, 4, Rule 3, talk to yourself, 5, the bread shop test, and finally, 6, growing your English tree. All right, kicking things off with section 1, the fear of speaking. This is all about acknowledging the anxiety. Moving right along to section 2. Rule 1, speak slowly. Let's talk about why fast is definitely not always better. You know, when you try to speak fast, it is incredibly hard. It's kind of like trying to steer a sports car at top speed when you've just learned to drive. It's stressful, right? And super difficult to control. But slow? Slow is good. Slow is actually smart. The text tells us we should aim to speak like a turtle. One word, then stop, then the next word. When you do this, people actually understand you so much better. And more importantly, as the text brilliantly points out, your mouth is happy. It just takes all that physical and mental stress right out of forming sentences. Okay, this source encourages us to try this out immediately. So let's do it. I want you to say this out loud right now, wherever you happen to be listening to this. Just pause deliberately on every single dot. Ready? I am learning English. Good. Let's do that one more time. I am learning English. See? Slow is easy. You are in total control of the entire situation. Which brings us to section 3. Rule 2, embrace mistakes. This is all about why getting it wrong is actually right. So, this is really all about reframing how we view failure. We've basically been conditioned to think that getting a word wrong is, super embarrassing. But the truth presented in our source is totally liberating. No mistakes equals no learning. Simple as that. If you say, I go home yesterday, yeah, okay, technically it's wrong. The right way to say it is, I went home yesterday. But the source asks a really vital question here. Did I die? No, I just learned. Making that grammatical error didn't hurt you. It just showed you the exact gap you needed to bridge. You literally only learned the correct past tense by stumbling over it first. Because mistakes are just so incredibly valuable, the source gives us a very specific daily challenge. Aim for 3. Yep, try to make 3 mistakes today on purpose. Your mission is to say something new, inevitably say it wrong, and then just smile. Because every single time you make one of those three mistakes, you are actively learning. You're making real progress. Let's hit section 4. Rule 3. Talk to yourself. It turns out you are your own best teacher. The text gives us some incredibly practical, everyday examples of exactly how to do this. The anxiety of speaking mostly comes from the fear of being judged by other people, right? But what if you're just standing at your bathroom mirror? Narrate your life. Say, I brush my teeth. When you grab a glass from the kitchen, say, I drink water, cold water. Even connect it to your emotions. I feel sad today. Your mirror is your teacher. Nobody is watching you, and absolutely nobody is laughing at you. It's a completely safe space where it's just you and English. All right, section 5, the bread shop test. Time for some real-world application. Practicing by yourself in your room is fantastic, but eventually you do have to step outside. What happens when the pressure is actually on? Well, the source shares this perfect little story to map it all out. First, there's the necessity. You need to buy bread. You go to the shop. Then the trigger hits. The shopkeeper asks what you want, and your heart just goes boom, boom. You're scared. But then comes the application part. You remember your rules. You deliberately speak slowly, like a turtle. You say, I want bread, please. You aren't scared of making mistakes, and you're speaking for yourself, not for the shopkeeper's judgment. And finally, success. The man smiles, you get your bread, and you realize something amazing. You did it. You spoke English. You can do this in the shop, on the bus, literally anywhere. Because this method works so exceptionally well, the source wants us to deeply internalize this confidence. So let's build that up right now. I want you to repeat these 3 steps after me, out loud. Step 1, I can speak English. Step 2, slow is good for me. Step 3, I am not afraid. Excellent. If you just keep repeating those affirmations, you'll completely rewire how you approach the whole language. Bringing us to our final section, section 6, growing your English tree. This is all about the long game of learning. The text uses this really beautiful, simple metaphor. Learning English isn't a race. It's honestly a lot more like growing a plant. You don't just magically get a full-grown tree overnight. One day, you give it 1 drop of water. Another day, you learn 1 new sentence. It's all about consistency. After many days of slow speaking, making your 3 mistakes, and talking to your mirror, well, that tiny little plant becomes a big, strong tree. You are that plant. And simply by hanging out and paying attention to this explainer today, you just got your drop of water. And of course, the journey continues. The source text sets you up for your next drop of water by teasing tomorrow's lesson. It's going to cover 5 essential words for daily life: hungry, tired, happy, busy, free. By mastering these simple concepts step by step, nice and slowly, you'll build up a massive vocabulary without any of the stress. But hey, before we start worrying about tomorrow's words, you actually have some homework for today. Remember rule number 2? You need to go make 3 mistakes today. So I'm going to leave you with this final, absolutely crucial question. What will your first mistake be today? Go get out there, speak slowly, say it totally wrong, smile, and keep growing that tree.